Hi everyone, Medina here from Arise Humanity. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to share with everyone that this coming Saturday, the 22nd of July, there is an incredible live Zoom workshop with Ian Welsh, and that will be on emotional healing. It's going to be a very powerful workshop. So if you have any emotional issues or areas that are unresolved, any emotional wounding that you would like to address, this will be a brilliant workshop to do that. Ian and myself will actually help to draw out the emotional baggage or wounding that you're wanting to heal. So you'll have us energetically helping you, and he'll be taking you through a technique to release and to heal any emotional issues that you're wanting to work on. So that is this Saturday. There is still some spaces available. Then the following Saturday on the 29th of July, there is a Zoom workshop for dowsing. So if you've ever wanted to learn about dowsing and you're learning from, brand new from scratch, then you're welcome. Otherwise, there is also information for people that have a level of knowledge on dowsing, because it is a masterclass. So you will be able to get a lot of questions answered and a lot of information in this dowsing workshop. Both workshops are 90 minutes long and they are full of information. So there's spaces available in the dowsing workshop as well. Links are below for that. And my final thing that I'd like to share with you before we get into this amazing interview ahead is a self-love, self-care workshop that I'm offering, which comes with an audio, and you do a little bit of homework for it, which is quite fun. And it's an amazing 90-minute workshop that brings great self-awareness, and it brings you an awareness of what to work on in terms of self-love. What are the areas that you need to really address? What areas are you good at and what areas do you need to address? You're going to do a self-analysis according to a rating system. And it's going to teach you actually a lot, I think. It taught me a lot anyway, about what to focus on when we think about self-love and self-care. And now is the moment in humanity's history to really nurture ourselves and focus on expanding our heart chakra and developing higher and higher levels of self-love. So if that speaks to you, please let me know. There are, again, spaces available for that workshop, but I can only bring limited numbers into that workshop because I like to work personally with everyone in that one at a very sort of a more intimate level. So there's only a small number that I'm able to do in that workshop. So please get in fast. We already have bookings, so please get in fast if you want to do the self-love, self-care workshop. It will be coming up soon, and you can contact me on my contact page at medina.com for that. So there's a contact page there. Just say self-love, self-care workshop information, or just those words, and I'll get back to you with some more information on that. That is Australian $111. Most of my live workshops are $111. So I'm going to now be very excited to introduce to you the awesome Tim Sandars, who is the head of his own company called Omnia, which is about revolutionary technology for humanity, that is really about supporting humanity at this time with everything that's going on. And you'll find out about it in a minute. So I think you're going to love this interview. And Tim has a lot of fascinating information to share. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you at one of the workshops, or a few of the workshops, maybe. Okay, thank you. Bye. Well, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce the wonderful Tim Sandars to this interview today. And I'm really grateful, Tim, because you have been very accessible to contact. You've been amazing in terms of your communication. As soon as I communicate, you get back very quickly. That doesn't often happen with busy people.
Only to you.
Yes.
Some other people might give you a different story, but yeah.
Well, I was very impressed being the owner of a company and everything. You've just been amazing in terms of your communication and your openness and accessibility. So thank you so much for a start. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to chat with you today about something I think that's really, really important on the planet at the moment, which is EMF protection, energetic protection, you know, against all the frequencies out there and everything that's going on. You have your own company called Omnia, which has a revolutionary technology to help support humanity at the moment. And so I love that. You know, we need to be moving forward in our society with progressive new ways to support humanity as we move toward ascension and move into 5D. So first of all, congratulations on everything that you're doing. Your product is amazing. I'm going to talk about it more myself and my experience with people as well. But I'd like to first of all start by just getting you to talk a little bit about your own story and an introduction about yourself. You know, what made you interested in this? You know, what was the evolution of your business or your company, which I know is based on principles of supporting humanity?
Yeah, it is. You know, obviously, my belief is that humanity is kind of under attack, and we need to understand what's happening, why, and then take action to try and bring our bodies back to balance, you know, whatever's being thrown at us. And there are many different things being thrown at us, but one of them is what we call imbalanced energy fields from, you know, from wireless technology. And the fundamental premise of why that's a problem is that everything in the body is electric, right? So this is something that I start with so that everyone understands what we're talking about here, which is that, you know, it's not just the heart, which is a big electrical pump, or the brain waves, which are invisible electrical fields, and those have both been measured. You know, we know that the heart beats an electrical pulse. We know that alpha, beta, gamma waves or whatever are measured in hertz, but every cell in the body is carrying electric current. So that's the starting point from which we talk about how it's not unusual that we might be reacting to these, because we've never held the electricity grid or any form of radiation in our hands all day, every day. And what happens is the electrical field from this phone carrying all of this wireless data affects the electrical current and the electrical energy field of our bodies, and it effectively wears us down, drains our energy, and that's something that we want to reverse, right? We want to keep our bodies strong and energized. So we're probably going to get into how we do that and what the, you know, how we know it works and all those good things. But to answer your question about how I got into it, well, I had a few problems with my health a little while ago, and I suffered from stress, and, you know, had a lot of kind of well, I had a breakdown basically. If you ever, if anyone knows what that entails, it basically means you lose control of everything. Your body, you know, you lose control of your energy, you know, your breathing and everything. And you know, it took me a while to recover from that. But then after that, I was working with someone who was an applied kinesiologist, right? And she came around to my house, and she was also a friend. She basically went around my house just saying, right, we've got to make sure that we get rid of anything that could be stressing you out, right? So she tested my deodorant and my shower gel and, you know, aftershave and all these. She was throwing all these things out. And then she said, and for anyone that doesn't understand muscle testing, it's basically where you put your arm out, and someone pulls down and you see how strong you are. And then you put something in your hand, like the deodorant, like, you know, and this is how I found out when I was 13 that I was allergic to milk. Because, you know, I went to this guy and I just put my arm out. I was super strong, super strong, super strong. And then he put milk in my hand and I just went, ugh, like that. And I was like, what is that? I can't, you know, I have no strength, nothing. And so she went through all these things in my house, and then she put my phone in my hand, and I was like, no, not my phone. You can't throw that away. But sure enough, I put my phone in her hand and the body just went weak. And I was like, wow, this is quite big news. I said, is that just me? And she says, no, every single person I test goes weak, right? Every single person. And we'll probably get a bit more into why that is. I mentioned earlier on that that the body is electric. So it's all about whether the spin of electrical current within these things or any wireless device is the same as the spin and vibration of the electrical current in the body. Because if it is, then we have resonance. And an example of that is the sun, because the sun is a life-giving radiation field, right? It's the giver of all life. We wouldn't be alive without the sun, nor would we have anything to eat without the sun. So the sun is a life-affirming, life-giving energy field. But what we found is that this is the opposite, right? So the energy that comes from here, I'll actually just draw it out for you, right? So this is the way I try and explain it, to just make it super simple, right? All the energy in the body, or the electrical current in the body, wants to spin kind of like this, right? And if you really want to get into it, there's a magnetic point here, and there's electric current that spins around the magnetic point. So the magnetic point stays inside the ring or the torus field of electrical current that is the cell. And for those who don't believe me, then you can have a look at this, for example, right, which shows cells, right? These are blood cells taken outside the body and then magnified. And you can see that they're torus fields, right? So what we know is that there's electric current spinning around those torus fields. And the electric current basically wants to spin like this, with the magnetic still point in the middle, which is in the middle of the sort of the inside of the donut. And it wants to spin like that. And along comes an electromagnetic field from wireless devices, and it kind of spins like that, with what we call imbalance and uncenteredness, which means that that still point in the center is moving all around the place. So it's kind of, I'll try and give you some contrast there, but it's basically moving all around the place. So you have this relationship between the electric and the magnetic point, which is always moving around. It's like an agitated wave field, right? So along comes the wireless radiation, and effectively all of the cells in your body, because we are cell towers, we're electrical beings, we're always reacting to things that we come into contact with, whether that's sunlight or good music or walking on a beach, hugging a tree. Those are all
energy, frequency,
natural.
vibration.
Yeah. Well, those are all natural positive resonances, but we react in the same way to things that are out of balance,
Yes.
in that we pick up their imbalance. So if your cells are going like this and along comes this, then the magnetic still point listens to the magnetic still point of this, and it starts to basically pick up its vibration and resonate in sympathy with it, right? Which brings a subtle form of stress into your body, which
how
basically
it feels like a jittery quality, where you feel a bit jittery and out of sync. And
it is.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it is. That's exactly what I'm describing. So effectively, if the EMF field is going like this, the electromagnetic field from wireless radiation is going like this, and your body then picks it up, then you're absolutely right. The body then feels agitated, stressed, gets a bit burnt out, you feel a bit drained, and so on. And a lot of people get tingles, in their ear, if you get too, too close, all that sort of stuff. They get tingles in their hands. I talk to people who can't use a keyboard; they have to use chopsticks.
Yeah.
That's how bad some of these people are. What we do with our technology, which kind of looks like this, it's a sticker that you put on your phone, which has an energy imprint inside the sticker. And what that does is it meets the EMF field that goes like this and makes the cell go like this, and then it basically changes it into a balanced and centered wave field of electric current. And then your body then listens to this new field and goes, right, okay, I vibrate in sympathy and I resonate with that vibration. So we change that vibration from that to that, and then the body goes, I like that, that's okay. And then we do tests on the heart, on the blood, on body strength and on water to make sure that you know, it worked, or you know, we've seen a positive reaction in the body, and that's how we measure that change has taken place. Sorry, I just wanted to finish that last bit off because that was a whole piece.
Ah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Yes, that was really important. So basically, you're saying there's 5 testings which prove the product harmonizes the frequency from these devices. So that's interesting. I want to get to that, but just to go back to a few points that when you said you had like a nervous breakdown, I thought, well, that's interesting because I think statistics are about a third of all people have that. So it's very, very common. And it's just the stresses too of, you know, our world, and as well as the frequency stresses and everything else. So I totally get that. And, you know, it is very common. And the other thing is, I wanted to say when you're talking about the tingles, the very first time I got an Apple iPhone, I held it in my hand just for not long at all, just for a bit, because I'm very sensitive. And I started to get pins and needles, like numbing, tingles, things. And then it started to feel like quite numb. And this was only in a very short period. And I thought, oh my God, I can't even hold it. So I had to put it down. And straight away, you know, I felt that. And so then my next thing was, okay, what do I get to protect my energy with my phone? Because I can't even use it without getting all this stuff straight away on down my arm when I was holding it. So that's how sensitive I am to it. And I want to say an extension of that, and this is quite poignant, but my girlfriend, she's very sensitive like me. She's an energy healer, and so she feels energy and things. And she got a mobile phone, and I said to her when she first got it, I said, you need to get some sort of protection for your phone because it's really important. And she didn't. She got busy with life, you know, as we do, and she didn't get any protection for it, and she continued using it. Rolled on a few years, and about a year and a half ago, she started getting a numb foot, and then she found out she had a brain tumor, and she actually passed away last night. And she said to me that it was the phone. She felt that was the cause of it, the brain tumor. So this is, you know, I don't want to scare people or bring up fear or anything, but this is a very obviously very relevant at the moment, you know, for me, and having experienced that with her. And I mean, I know that people have soul contracts about when they pass and all that sort of thing. Yeah. But nevertheless, I feel that this was a significant factor, if not the factor, and she even says it herself, of why she got this brain tumor. So, you know, people don't have to go through those things. You know, if they utilize this incredible advanced technology that you're talking about, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It's going to help a lot. It's a no-brainer. Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's really going to help. We can never claim that we're going to stop certain things from happening in the body, and we can never give medical advice. But, you know, just by drawing that little thing out where it's like the field's going like this, which is going to, you know, disrupt the electrical balance in your body, and especially in the places where there's lots of fluid. Right. So the brain is a place where there's lots of fluid. You put your phone next to your brain a lot. It means that basically all the water and the, you know, it doesn't conduct it, but it starts to pick up its, you know, vibration. So the wet parts of the body, and it's also like very bad news to put your, you know, phone next to your genitals, for example, or even in your back pocket, because it goes straight up the anus and into the gut, which is also incredibly wet. So the wet parts of the body are the ones that are
absorbing.
Yeah. And we know that from, for example, the water tests that we've done, where we basically take a glass of water, you know, and we fill it up right to the top, and then we put a phone on the top. So we put our phone like this, and then we basically let the phone play a video for 10 minutes. And effectively the water starts to pick up the vibration of the radiation, right? And we do it once with our sticker and once without the sticker on. And when the sticker's not on, when our technology is not on, the water molecules just get destroyed, right?
Yeah.
There's just no structure in them. They're all broken. But then when we put our sticker on and we take a photo of this, this water, it basically shows these really nice snowflakes, like crystalline hexagonal structure starts to appear, which means that the water's listening energetically to the new vibration of the new field that's being, centered and balanced by this sticker. And it's organized itself into a nice structure. And that's good news for our bodies, because we like to think that the same thing has happened, the same phenomenon is happening in our bodies when you use our technology. So we've done 4 tests, which I'm sure will come, 5 tests, which I'm sure we'll come on to later, that kind of underline that this is having a great benefit. But yeah, it's awful when you hear stories about people suffering like that. People who are young who get brain cancer is quite unusual, but it's becoming more and more common, sadly. And
Can I tell you another story
part of
too
the reason
about
for
that?
that is earphones.
Oh,
Sorry, go on.
earphones, yes. Oh,
Earbuds
absolutely.
and
Well,
all that. Yeah.
and the reason I'm not saying this to create fear, but I'm just trying to express the truth of what's going on in the world, because my partner's father was in a ward in the hospital, and he walked into a ward that was sort of adjacent, and there were all these young people, and all these young people had brain tumors. And he said, why have all these young people got brain tumors? And the head doctor there, said it's because of their mobile phones. And the whole ward was, just full of these young people with brain cancer.
I mean, it's insane, isn't it? It's like, but at the moment, doctors are afraid of speaking out on a thing like these types of things, and it's such a shame, because good, upstanding people, but obviously, they don't want to be bullied, they don't want to be, beaten up for telling the truth. But look, I hear stories like that all the time, but nothing gets done. Nothing gets done.
Why your technology is so good. I mean, I think we can do intentional programming around it, where we set an intention for it of, to protect and all that sort of thing. But this is just a really, to me, a fundamental layer of protection that you're talking about, that goes on all your technology, not only your phones, but your computers, your laptops, everything, even TVs and things, isn't it? Everything electrical.
Anything that radiates, anything that basically carries wireless radiation, and even things that are things like dirty electricity, and it includes things like smart meters. A lot of people have a real problem with smart meters. So we advise people to get a sticker on those. Electric vehicles are emitting a massive amount of wireless radiation as well, and you can test that by taking your radio frequency meter into your car and measuring the level of EMF in there. So yeah, anything that's smart watches, smart tablets, anything with smart before it, get a sticker on it. You can even put them in your microwave, and I don't have a microwave, but you can put them in your microwave and it will change the microwaves into something that's balanced, and that might help your food a little bit. But as you probably know, microwaves pretty much destroy food anyway. So all the good stuff in food anyway. So so I wouldn't, but if you do have to microwave stuff, then it's worth putting a sticker in there as well.
Sure, I hear you. I wouldn't go anywhere near it myself. Just saying.
Me neither.
Well, I think that this is very advanced technology that you're talking about, and I want to get a bit of an understanding of how you are able to discover this technology and to develop it, because it is something that is different to anything else, isn't it?
It is, and it's it takes something of a leap of faith, but ultimately it's a really great positive story, right? And the story is that there's this new type of energy in our atmosphere that arrived in about 2007 and was found by the inventor of our product. right? So the inventor of our product gives us two things, which is, I'm very grateful to him for, and everyone, all of my customers are too. He gave us the truth about the radiation field, what a radiation field really is, and the notion that everything is radiating. My body is radiating, this glass is radiating, the water in that glass is radiating, and so on. So, it's basically the whole world of physics tries to get you to say that, this is the only electrical current that is operational in our, electrostatic charge, I think it's called, that is operational in our lives. But that's not true, because basically this is just heat and light passing down a copper tube going into your laptop or phone or whatever and charging the battery up, right? So ultimately, he gives us the true physics of the atom, which allows us to understand what's going on here. Why is the sun different to man-made radiation? And we can get into that a bit later, but basically he gives us that. And then he gives us one other thing, which is like, how do we move that field from imbalance to balance and centeredness so that the body now goes, I like that new vibration. And he has discovered this new unit of energy. It's almost like he was put here on the planet to discover it in some ways, because he sort of discovered it through deep meditation. This is a guy who's like a real master of physics, by the way. He used to be in the Max Planck Institute of Physics as a researcher, as a senior researcher, which is just about as high as you can get in physics. So he knows his stuff back to front, right? And he's written 25 different papers about the laws of creation, the laws of mass, the laws of gravity, the true concept of the atom. So he's a hardcore physicist, but then he had a bit of an awakening, and he started asking through other realms, what are the true concepts? Because I'm teaching all this stuff, but I don't think it's true. And then it was revealed to him what these things are. So he wrote papers about it. But then he got chucked out. His name is Ilya Lakisevich.
Okay.
He's Serbian, so we just call him Lakisevich, but we call him Laki. He calls himself Laki.
Lucky.
And yeah, I mean, for anyone who really is a physics boffin, they can contact me, and I can send you some of his papers, but they're hard work, because they're really dense, like really dense information, but a lot of experiments to show that the atom is not a proton, neutron, electron, and nucleus, for example. The atom is actually.
I'm not surprised, because most of the information that we've been fed coming from those sources, the Rockefeller Basic Educational Foundation, is misinformation, so that we are not empowered within ourselves by knowing what are the true stories in the world. Well, what is the true information? Because that would make us less controllable.
100%.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can just quickly show you something that might help people to understand and maybe get a bit of confidence, right? So ultimately what we're saying is that these things here are torus fields of light, but actually what these things are genuinely is blood cells, right? So all your blood cells look like torus fields of light or electric current, because electric current is the same thing as light. And that's because they are electric current and light. So ultimately, when we said the body is electric, we didn't just mean the heart is an electrical pump and the brainwaves are electric. Every cell is a spinning ring of light or electrical current. So we are light beings, right? And that is exactly what the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to know, is that you can basically heal yourself on an electrical or light level if you really focus on basically these blood cells here are perfectly healthy, and they can move out of shape just like that, and they move out of shape when you basically irradiate yourself. They all lose their shape and they lose that perfect donut shape. But you'll notice on the inside of this is empty space. So the next thing I'm going to tell you is
like
show you this. Donuts. They look like donuts. Anyone getting hungry? Yeah, so I'm just going to show you that as well, because basically if you take one donut, one light ring or electrical current of the blood cell, on the inside of this empty space, which you can see here, there is a magnetic still point. And what happens with the cell is it borrows the electrical current from the magnetic still point, which is also what we call the 0 point, because it has 0 electrical potential and it is a magnetic point. So a lot of people talk about the 0 point field and Well, it's inside every single one of our cells, right?
I've
0
talked
point
about
field.
it.
And it's on the inside of every atom as well. So the 0 point field is basically the platform for all electrical current to come out and express itself as matter or life, right? So, you know, it's in a blade of grass, a grain of sand, a drop of water, and our bodies, right? And then that by nature, every single other thing, you know, which is a construct of all natural things, whether it be glass or even plastic or whatever else, right? So so ultimately what happens here is the light ring here borrows the energy from the 0 point to spin itself into matter and compress itself into an atom, and then it discharges itself. So it compresses itself into the light ring or the torus field, and then it discharges itself, and effectively basically borrows the energy to compress and then discharges it to the ether. It flicks on and off like that all the time, right? So it's effectively living and dying, living, compressing, dying, discharging, flicking off like that in rapid succession, right? So this looks like it's still, like it's solid, like it's, you know, kind of, you know, a permanent thing. But actually, if you slowed this right down, you'd see compression, expansion, compression, expansion. And the speed at which it alternates between compression and expansion is frequency. That is what frequency is. So when we're measuring in hertz, you know, and you can measure the hertz of the liver, the kidneys, the heart, the brain waves.
Spiritual master that I was talking to was saying that to make a connection between the mind and the heart, you just have to go to 0.1 of a hertz, and it actually brings that energetic field together so that you're working with the mind and the heart simultaneously. 0.1 of a hertz. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I mean, this is it. There are clues, there are secrets in the body that, you know, that we can use to reset it, but these are all being hidden from us. I mean, even the guy who originally measured that there are all these different frequencies in the body, he's now dead. And then I went to try and find all his research, because I saw all these memes up saying, hey, you know, they measured that the liver vibrates at this frequency, the lungs vibrate at this frequency, the kidneys, the pancreas, the da. And I was like, this is great research. I must find this. It's been completely, you know, swept under the carpet. And he's even got people, you know, who operate on his behalf. And I contacted them and I said, where are these papers? And they say, oh, we can't, you know, they've gone. And so, you know, all this information is being buried. Funnily enough, the Russians, you know, they don't care about the pharmaceutical industry, and they've done their own research.
GMOs, the Monsanto, which is brilliant.
They're a bit more switched on than us, and they've been studying the body electric for decades, and they're way more advanced than we are in terms of understanding it, and then working with electrical current to treat the body. But hopefully we'll catch up. But I just wanted to show you that, because that knowledge comes from Lackey, the inventor of our product. You know, the idea that the cell or the atom compresses itself and then discharges itself. And if the compression phase is equal to the discharge, we have balance in the cell, which means that the 0 point sits in the absolute center, right? So compression equals discharge, that 0 point sits in the center. But if the discharge is greater than the compression, which is what happens in a man-made EMF field, then we get imbalance in the field, which means that the 0 point is always just never settling in the inside. So that's the knowledge that he represents, that tells us what it is we have to correct in a man-made wireless radiation field. So what we would say is that all electrical fields made by man carry an imbalance or an uncenteredness. And that's what we reverse, or we correct, with the Omnia radiation balancer. That's why we call the Omnia radiation balancer, because we balance the radiation, and then that brings back balance back to the body. So I met this guy at a festival, and he was doing a talk on free energy, because he represents this thing called Deco Energy, which is the second thing I was talking about, which is effectively, he has discovered this. It's been coming into our atmosphere since 2007. It has many purposes. It's here to help us to ascend and to gain higher consciousness. It's also here to amplify all of our higher vibrations, right? So as we move into higher vibration as a human collective, it amplifies that, and it's almost like our magic carpet. It helps us to sort of to get there. So it's here kind of as a cosmic gift to us, and he's managed to get it to, and it basically, Deco Energy looks like a dodecahedron, right? Let me see if I've got a picture of it to show you, because I'm going to go deep into because normally I don't go too woo-woo, but today I'm going to go full woo-woo, and I hope you don't mind.
I love woo-woo.
But I don't know if that's reading out. Yeah. So the difference, this is Deco Energy, and if he were to draw it out, this is just a drawing, but if he were to draw it out, he says this is what it looks like, right? So a dodecahedron is a 12-sided, 12 kind of pentagons, I think. So ultimately, you've got these cones of light spinning from the outside of the dodecahedron into the center, right? And so they basically spin across. You can imagine 2 cones of light spinning across. So there's 6 pairs, so 12 in all, of these cones passing light across the dodecahedron structure, which means that 0 point always gets held in the absolute geometric center. So this is kind of the energy of, well, he claims it's the energy of unity consciousness and the energy of love. And since it's here now supporting us, we are working with it on a very subliminal or subconscious level. And he's one of the only people I know who's working with it on a conscious level. And what it does is it can respond to conscious intent. So we can mentally program it to do something, as in balance radiation fields. And then once we brought balance to the radiation fields, the body, like I've said before, goes back to balance. So that's kind of the new technology that we're using, but it's actually really organic technology. It's here as part of the natural radiating side of the world, but it's also here for us to develop new energy solutions. And I know that his vision is that we actually get stickers which look a bit like this, which we can end up putting on our laptops, and they'll just charge up the laptop, and we won't need these cables anymore, or the electricity grid. And if you think about the consciousness of the electricity grid, that's one of the things that we don't react to very well, right? Because the consciousness of the energy grid is extract, it disappears, pay for it, repeat, 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 repeat. And why do we go to work? To pay the bills. So what have they got us on? They've got us on a slave mill, on a, in a slave system. It's an oppressive slave system. It's like, great, it's exactly like oil. We found this amazing thing that runs out every time you use it, and you have to keep coming back and using it. So the masters of all of our control systems are like happy days, electricity,
a vampire
electricity.
They keep sucking out like a vampire.
And that's why we, as beings of light, or energetic beings of God, if you like, we dissonate with that energy of greed, that energy of oppression on a vibrational level. Our bodies don't like it. And that's one of the reasons why man-made electrical currents are always imbalanced, the consciousness of it. And the other reason, just while I'm on that roll, is because electrical current tends to be made by force. It's a forceful energy, right? So if you imagine there's water in a dam, right? And you open up the floodgates and the water comes running down the dam, you know, vertically running down the dam at enormous force to turn the turbine. And the turbine then basically creates all this electrostatic charge into the grid, and then it goes down the lines. You know, that whole process is an energy of force. And that force is what our bodies don't like either. So there's two things, you know, that our bodies don't like: the force and the consciousness of it. And there could be other things as well, but those are the two things that I know about. And that's what makes it an imbalanced energy field compared to the sun, which is a graceful energy field of ease and, you know, and the giver of all life.
Absolutely. Well explained. I have a few questions that people have asked me to ask you about the Omnia product. So how do you put that technology in the sticker specifically? Can you describe that a little bit?
I actually am going to have to pass on that one, other than he has written a book. It's quite hard work to read the book, but you can read the book and understand a little bit more about how he works with it and how he has devised solutions. It's kind of tricky because I know he took about 10 years to get to the point where he could put it in a sticker, and he then tested it himself. I took the testing to another level, so I started doing tests on the heart, on the blood, applied kinesiology. He'd already done the water structure testing and one other. So ultimately, the way he puts it in the sticker is kind of his IP. And I think he'll reveal all of this stuff when he's ready to make it, to bring it out for the whole human race, which I hope he does. You know, my hope, my hope is that he devises some kind of free energy solution that everyone can use, and he makes it kind of open source so that he tells everyone how they can just do it at home. And then if you think about the impact of something like that, it's then over for all of the
energy companies,
grid operators and everything else. It's just over, because we don't need them anymore, right? And as soon as we don't need energy, as soon as we don't need to pay for energy, the whole of society changes. Because like I said, if you're not going to work to pay the bills, you then don't have to go to work. And if you can really think about that, then that changes everything about who we are, what we are, how we operate, and we just end up having fun. We can all go out and just dance and party and whatever else, and we don't have to go to work.
I can do that. So when I found out about, you know, your amazing product, Nyla Newen was talking about it. She's an amazing lady who has 3D to 5D consciousness, and she's a top researcher. She always goes very deeply into things in terms of the research, and she was really impressed by your product, and that's what, you know, drew me to it initially. And so I used the product, and I noticed the difference. Obviously, I bought it quite a few years ago now. I bought some for my different products, but I just bought another phone, so I needed to get another one for my phone. And I also am aware that my son didn't have any protection on his laptop or his phone, so I've bought some for him as well, just actually the other day. So I've
or was he open to the idea? I just hear a lot of parents saying, "Oh, my son has just, you know, just won't have it put on his phone," you know, because.
Well, I asked him. I asked him. He has had some issues with his energy, so you know, I'm saying to him that this is a one of the solutions for that, you know, and so I think it's really, really important for him because he's quite sensitive like me, and so it's brilliant. It's sort of also not too, it doesn't stand out too much because it's a small sticker. It's a little bit more subtle than something big, which is excellent as well. And it's easy to put on things. How long do they? I had someone ask me, how long do they last for? I guess for as long as you have.
As long as you look after the sticker, and if you bought the sticker a couple of years ago, you might have bought a sticker where the colours fade a little bit. But now we've got stickers where the colors don't fade at all. So they'll always remain, you know, really super solid, really super bright, you know, a bit like the one you can see on my phone here. Those colors will never fade. And as long as you look after the sticker, as in don't burn it or get water all over it and that sort of thing, then the energy imprint, the Deco Energy that we talked about, that will always be there and it will always be active. So as long as you look after the sticker, it'll always work.
So it's a really good idea if you muscle test, for example, before you put the sticker on, and then you muscle test your body after you put the sticker on, and notice the difference, I think, with your all the different technology that you're using. Another question somebody asked me was, they said they wanted to be really, really safe, and so they were thinking of getting one of your stickers plus another chip to put on the same phone. Are they going to work against? I said that they might work against each other if they do that. What could, or would they both support one another?
They shouldn't do, right? They shouldn't conflict each other. But you can imagine being in my situation. I don't know anything about the other solution, right?
Yes,
I don't know what it is.
yes.
It could be a crystal. It could be a metallic thing. It could be I don't know, a magnetic chip or something like that. I just don't know what the other solution is, right? All I can say is that what we have is just 100% organic, right? There's nothing artificial in it, or I mean, it's a sticker, but ultimately, there's nothing AI or artificial in it or anything like that. It's just an organic sticker with organic energy, which has been programmed to return the radiation field to balance. I always say to people, if you're buying our stuff, then take the other thing off, try it for a week, and really tune into whether it helps you sleep, tune into whether your phone goes less hot, because that's one thing that it doesn't go completely cold, don't get me wrong, but it'll go much less hot. Yeah. And just tune into things like energy levels, focus, headaches, things like that. Just use it for a week. And sleep as well. I think I mentioned that. And just note down, how that makes you feel, and then put the other thing on as well, right? And then just see if there's any change. Because honestly, that's the only way I can answer that question, because I don't know what the other product is, right? So that's my advice. But look at all of the test results that we get and really see those benefits, and understand that that's what we're hoping to bring to your body.
Perfect. I've got
in the
your
blood and the heart,
website,
body strength.
So I've got your website here. I'm just going to share an image of that so people can see. Here is your website. The Omnia tests are here: testing methodology, heart rate variability, water structure, live blood analysis, kinesiology, range of motion testing. So I encourage people to go and have a look at that there if they want more information. I'm going to chat some more, but I just want to let people know that
we've also, just while we're on that point, we've also done autonomic response testing and got excellent results, but we're not allowed to publish those because proprietary testing, and I don't know, it's a funny old world sometimes. We're just trying to do some good, but we got slapped on the wrist for publishing those results. And we also get really good results in biogeometry, if anyone knows what that is. It's a kind of advanced form of dowsing. So it's working with energy to work out whether the energy fields are good or bad. So those are just another couple of examples, and we are in the process of getting some bioresonance testing, right? Which with this piece of Russian kit, which is really, really good. And those will be out soon. So we'll always keep doing tests and keep, providing triangulated evidence that the body is responding well. But yeah, thank you for showing people where those test results are on our site.
Oh, no worries. So I'll leave a link below to the information there so people can look at that. And just so people know, if they do want to get this product, I will, in full transparency, say I am an affiliate now because I really believe in this product. So I am an affiliate, but if you want to have a discounted rate on buying one of these or some of these products, and I think there's 3 is the minimal amount of stickers you can get, and then it goes 3, 6, and so forth. My coupon referral code is Omnia Soul Tribe. Soul Tribe is my show on Rumble. So this Omnia Soul Tribe is the words, all capitals, running straight together for your coupon referral code, and you'll get a wonderful discount on that, on the products through using that. So I'll just leave the links below, my affiliate links below, if anyone's interested, because I do have people, you know, mentioning this to me, and it is, as I mentioned in my consciousness, very much at the minute due to the situation of, you know, what my friend has been through. It wasn't a pleasant way to go for her. And so I feel a sense of responsibility to share this information because of that as well. And so is there any other important information that you'd like to share about the Omnia product that you think is important for people to know?
I think we've covered most of the stuff. I mean, anyone can always send me a question if you want, you know, if there's anything you didn't understand, or, you know, any questions you have, any doubts you have, anything, then feel free to contact me. You know, we send product all around the world, but we don't have a depot or a fulfillment center in Australia or New Zealand currently, which is a shame, because we do have quite a lot of Aussie customers. We send around the world from the UK, the USA, and from Germany. So it's a little bit of a wait time in Australia, but you never know, we might open up a fulfillment center there at some point. But yeah, anyone's welcome to ask me a question. My email is hello@omniabalance.life. So if you've got any questions about the product, then get in touch. Or if you've got any partnerships, or you want me to do a speaking engagement or talk to your school about, you know, the dangers of all of this and all that sort of stuff, then I'm very happy to do that. And also the other thing, just to mention to everyone, is that it's not just us that's saying this, that this is a problem. There are 6,000 peer-reviewed studies showing that rats that were exposed to EMF got all sorts of adverse effects recorded, cancers to endocrine system damage, to DNA, oxidative stress, genotoxic effects. Infertility is one of the big ones. I don't know if you know a guy called Tim Ferriss, but you can see a YouTube video from him, and this is on a live human being himself, where he put his phone in his pocket for 2 months, and then he took his phone out and didn't use it for 2 months, and he measured his sperm on a regular basis, and by the end of the 2 months of taking his phone out and throwing it away, he doubled his sperm count. And that is not trivial, right? You know, we're talking about, I mean, that is direct evidence about how this affected cells in the body, and they just so happen to be cells that are very important for the future of the human race, right? So,
well, it's amazing he put himself through that to do that. You know, that was a nice sacrifice.
Original body on the line. Yeah.
That reminds me of the McDonald's guy that went on and just ate McDonald's and just got really overweight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You wouldn't find me doing that.
Making yourself a guinea pig. The other point I want to make with that is that, you know, when children and teenagers are developing and their brains are developing and things, they're also much more porous, they're much more vulnerable, and they're much more likely to have increased damage from this as well. So important that we protect.
Yeah, their skulls are thinner. Their skulls are thinner, so they get less protection in the brain. For example, if you give your child under 10 a cell phone or whatever, their skulls are thinner, and all their organs are developing, right? So all our organs are developed. But when they're developing, they're at a very sensitive time, and if you bombard them with all of this electrical stress, then it puts them under stress from a very early age. And that isn't great news. So yeah, lots of things to be aware of.
Another really important point is to not hold your phone, if you can possibly avoid it, when it's charging, or because that really magnifies the ill adverse effects of the radiation. So yeah, that's really important too, isn't it?
Well, there's a video that I've done on my social media where basically you get an electrical voltage meter, right? And you put it on the table, turn it on, and then you basically put your phone, plug it in, and you hold your phone here. And let's say the thing is up, you know, the detector's on the table pointing upwards like that. You then basically put your arm and put it over the detector like that. And the thing goes beep, 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 beep. So it shows that if you've got the cable in your phone, the electrical current is passing all the way down your body through your hand and then setting off the detector, right? And it's the same thing if you have this and you go put your ear over the detector, it starts beeping again. So it shows that this electrical current is passing through your body when you have your phone in your hand that's plugged in. And you're absolutely right. It's a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tim, it's been so wonderful to chat with you and to sort of pick your brain on this and to share with people the wonderful work that you've done to be able to offer this to the world at this time. And I just really want to honor you for that. Say thank you. And
Thank you.
Please keep in contact. You know, I'd love to keep our contact going so that we can keep updated with everything that's happening with Omnia. And if anyone would like to get more information, I've got links below, information below. And thank you so much for your time, Tim.
It's a great pleasure. Really nice to be on your show and chat with you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tim. Have a wonderful night.
You too.